Hey everyone, this is video number 3. This is the last video in this particular Q&A. Thanks again for all of your questions. All right, we're going to jump right into it. Midlife at Midlife92 asks, long-term investor and soon-to-be proud owner of the Argo hoodie. Nice. I don't have mine on currently, but we like our Argo hoodies. My question is, are we looking to mine Ethereum at the new Texas facility, and are we mining at the current facility as well? We are currently not mining Ethereum. We have mined Ethereum in the past on a smaller scale when we first started mining back in 2018. Those machines are no longer significant anymore, and the machines that we were mining in 2018. So we're not mining Ethereum right now. I've said in the past that, we are kind of agnostics, right? Not the right word, but we are open to whatever, to mine whatever kind of coin is going to give us the best return at the time of machine purchase. So we haven't announced whether we're going to mine Ethereum or not at the new Texas facility, but it will be a mix of coins. It won't be just straight Bitcoin. Good question. Spinsky at Spinsky9, top work Argo team. I'm interested to know what Bitcoin maxis do you follow closely and what makes their work stand out from the others? Michael Saylor is an obvious one, but there are so many other top influencers out there. P.S. Have you brought any new reading glasses yet? So I buy reading glasses fairly frequently because I like to have them handy. And so I have them kind of all over the place. I actually bought some this past weekend. In terms of Bitcoin maximalist, well, as you know, I am not a pure Bitcoin maximalist. I'm bullish on crypto space in general. Obviously, Bitcoin is the granddaddy and, the big one, and it makes the majority of, Argo's holdings. So we're obviously bullish on Bitcoin, and we believe that, it's going to continue to appreciate. But in terms of people who we look to, Michael Saylor has been incredibly eloquent and very well spoken. I listen to Raoul Pal quite often. He's again, very intelligent about not just Bitcoin, but the space in general. If you are looking for a kind of a Bitcoin maxi, Peter McCormick, What Bitcoin Did, who's a great British podcast host, is really smart. I also listen to a daily podcast called The Breakdown, hosted by a guy called NFW. It's really useful kind of for just kind of general, it's like 10, 15 minute pieces every day talking about specific topics in crypto, what's going on in the space, really useful. So lots of obviously lots of interesting people out there, and there's no shortage of inspirational and intelligent commentators in the space. Richard Jones sent this question by email. If Argo's in a strong cash position, as Peter Wall shared in the last Q&A, why not use some of this cash to pay down future costs? I'm not sure exactly what you mean, Richard, by future costs. We do use our cash to pay for our operating costs. In terms of, we have some, lease payments that we make for the machines that we bought back in November. We're happy to pay those on a monthly basis. We have a good rate on them. So we do use our cash, like I've said before, to pay for operating expenses, but we don't have a ton of kind of future costs to pay down. But thank you for the question. Lotto Hopes at Lotto Hopes. Could you expand on ARB's relationship with Epic? Will we take a stake in Epic as part of vertical integration? I know Dispersion Holdings has taken a stake in Epic. Can you allay concerns about risks of relationships becoming somewhat incestuous? Thank you. Argo's relationship with Epic is they're a supplier to us. We think that they're going to be producing some great machines. We obviously have put in pre-orders for their next machine that's coming out in Q4 of this year. So we're really optimistic that that's going to be a great machine, and we like the track record they have of building technology over the last decades, going back for a long time. And the machines and the ASIC machines that they have built for other coins have done really well, and we've gotten good feedback from people that we know in our network that have used those. Will we take an Epic as a part of vertical integration? I can't really comment on that. I know Dispersion Holdings has taken a stake in Epic. Yeah, so Dispersion Holdings started by a former co-founder of Argo. And obviously it's a small space. People know each other, and they made an investment into Epic, which is good for them. We chose to instead deploy capital into a pre-purchase of machines, which we thought was a more effective way. And Epic was actually really pleased with that, because it gave them the opportunity to take that money and continue the development work that they were doing and the production work that they were doing with those machines. And then the last part of the question is, can you lay any concerns about risks of relationships becoming somewhat incestuous? Look, I think it's a small space, particularly in Canada and the UK. So there's going to be some overlapping, and I don't see any issues there. Evangelos Markakis and George Farmer at Emma de Greek. Hello, Pete. In the future, can you pay dividends to stockholders once we reach a certain amount of mines coined? Also, can this dividends be paid in Bitcoin? So the dividends question is one we get a lot. We used to get a lot more than we get it now. Obviously, in the UK, there's a certain expectation from shareholders for dividends that there really isn't in North America, particularly for younger companies like ourselves in North America. Not common to pay dividends. And I'll say the same thing, which I've said about dividends every time I've been asked, which is when the time is right, we'll do a dividend. The time is not right so far. And then moving forward, of course, it'd be awesome to do a dividend in Bitcoin, but there's layers of regulations and challenges around that. So I can't say anything more than it's a cool idea. That's what it is right now, is an idea. Friends Maurer at Friends18. This is a nice question from France. Is Argo the complete scam I thought it was? Please answer this most important question if you've got the balls. Peter. Thank you, friends. That's nice. We do get some interesting characters in Twitter, and there's good questions and some challenging questions, and so obviously Argo is not a scam, friends. We are doing the best that we can to run the company in the best way that we can. I believe in where we're going. I believe we've had a pretty good run over the last, over the last 6 months. I think I've done what I've said and what I set out to do as CEO, which is to, have a smart growth mentality, to run a lean company, and to put us in a position when Bitcoin goes on a run like it's gone on, we take advantage of it. So there's still lots of work to do. I appreciate, people, some people have a kind of unexpected, a different, let's say, some people have a different view of what a timeline is like and where we should be. And I believe we're going in the right direction. And so there you go, Franz. I guess I have the balls to answer your question. Okay, next question. Please tell us more about DeFi involvement and where Argo sees itself outside of the mining sphere. Yeah, look, I've said before, we're a blockchain technology company. We are, we believe that mining is, really profitable right now. A short-term, medium-term, excellent play. It's obviously part of our long-term goals as well, because we're building out Texas. But there are these other sandboxes, DeFi, proof of stake, Web 3.0 that we've started to engage with. And Pluto was part of that. Pluto Digital Assets Investment was part of that. And then we're looking at other opportunities outside of just straight mining. So can't say more than that right now, but that's essentially how I'll answer that one. Thank you at Investor Observer for your question. Newman Anjum asks, hi, I don't have a Twitter, but notice that Peter joined another Twitter Q&A, and I have a question for him. My question is, does the G in Peter G. Wall stand for gangster? That's cute. It does not stand for gangster. Thank you for thinking I'm a gangster. I don't think of myself as particularly gangster-like. It stands for George, my middle name. Okay, next question. Mark Bonavita. Hi, Peter. Does Argo have any real connection to Dispersion Holdings? Is this anything to do with Pluto? So no, we have no connection to Dispersion. Dispersion is a project started by a former Argo founder or an Argo founder. Nothing to do with Argo. We're not connected with it in any way. By the way, I dig the blue light glasses. Don't let anyone shame you. It happens. Thanks, man. These are actually not the blue light version. I do have these as blue light version, but these are actually reading glasses because I'm getting old. Luis Cervantes at LuisServ85. Any interest in hosting a room in Clubhouse? It would be an awesome avenue to educate retail investors on Argo or crypto in general. Yeah, look, I'm open to Clubhouse. I think it's an interesting an interesting format. I listen to a lot of podcasts, obviously, so I'm a fan of audio. Clubhouse is not something I've used as a listener, but I understand there's lots of people on it. Is it true it's losing a little bit of steam right now, or is that just a rumor? But for sure, I'd be open to joining a Clubhouse. Not sure who with. We'd have to figure out which room, but Ollie B at Ollie B10. Why is Argo able to mine at greater margins than competitors? Really, it has to do with two things. One is having newer machines that are more efficient. If you look at some of our competitors, they bought a lot of machines back in 2018, 2019, or even earlier, 2017. So they have legacy machines. They're just not as efficient. And so their margins aren't as good. They're using more power, for the amount of hash power they're getting out of it, kind of on a watts per terahash basis. And then secondly, we do optimize the machines, especially obviously the machines that are out of warranty. We optimize them to be more efficient and to run at better margins and create better margins. So that's it. And then obviously our cost of hosting power and our cost of hosting and power is very good. So that's essentially why our margins are so good. And then when you mix in a little bit of Zcash in there, that makes the margins even better because Zcash, particularly in the last month, has been on a really good tear. Nicholas Slater. Mr. Slater, thank you for your question. At Pat Vera. What are the bearish entry? What's to stop any co mining Bitcoin by buying machinery? This question I get a lot. It's a good question. As I've said before, two things you need to be a cryptocurrency miner: access to machines, access to power. Not easy to get power at a low cost, especially if it's renewable. There seems to be less and less opportunities to get kind of good low cost power and to be able to build out infrastructure as needed lately. And then access to machines. You need to have good relationships with manufacturers. You need to be credible. Mining manufacturers don't want to deal just kind of with the average Joe who rocks up with X million and saying, "Can you send me machines?" They want to deal with people they know can install machines properly, run them properly, that are good clients, particularly in this kind of environment where there's such a high demand for machines. So I think those are the two. And then once you're set up, knowing how to optimize your machines, knowing how to run your machines, knowing how to monitor your machines, and then when to buy more machines. Because as I've said many times before, it's not as just simple as, we're going to, bigger is better. We're just going to keep adding infrastructure to add infrastructure. It's really about looking at ROI, looking at where mining difficulty is going, et cetera, et cetera. So lots of barriers, but we've definitely seen, more competition in the space, and it happens. There's more competition in the space when you're in kind of bull market territory, which we're in right now. Speaking of bull markets, Lewis B at Lewis Brakel asks, what's the plan when we get into a bear market? Luckily, Argo has been through a bear market. We survived the crypto winter, and I think the plan is, again, you look at, what's the ROI for machines, what is in terms of the mining side, how do you maintain as much Bitcoin as you can to kind of prepare for the future, with the expectation that this is a cyclical industry, and in the long term, crypto and we believe crypto and Bitcoin in particular is going to appreciate. So I think you focus on being efficient, you focus on your margins, and it's actually can be a really good time to buy machines. We found it, buying machines in a bear market, it's actually, especially if you can get the timing right into the second half or the later end of a bear market, it's a really good time to add infrastructure. Okay, last question. from Crypto Hammer at Aim Woo. Hi, Peter. I just want to know how you're dividing your time between being involved with Argo and other investments like cellular goods. Thanks. Thank you for the question. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I spend 99% of my time on Argo and the cellular goods. I'm the non-executive chair. We have a board meeting once a month. I talk to the CEO periodically, and that's about my involvement with cellular goods. So, you know, traditional board member type of role, oversight, you know, advice, et cetera, steering from a distance. But I am the Argo CEO, and this takes up more time than it should in my life right now, or maybe not. Maybe not more time than it should. It takes up a lot of time, which is great. It's you know, you can sleep during the bear market. I think those bags under my eyes are a little dark, but it's fine. Thank you everyone for your questions. I appreciate the enthusiasm and the passion for Argo. And for those of you that didn't get your questions answered, I apologize. We only have a certain amount of time. And yeah, onwards and upwards.